Reynolds number. Then, so this is what is the data book I have taken. I will explain while explaining the relations that are used for natural convection. Whatever I am displaying here, this is the page I have taken the Xerox copy. So again I will be showing. So after explaining the mechanism of natural convection. Okay. So forced convection with Frenkel number greater than 1 we have seen. Forced convection with Frenkel number less than 1 also we have seen. Frenkel number less than 1 means that is for liquid metals. Even at high temperatures also they remain in the liquid form only, and the corresponding Nusselt number relations to be taken are different. In the data book you need not remember for liquid metals what are the available Nusselt number relations. You will straight away take it from the data book and substitute. After estimating Nusselt number equating to Hd by K, average heat transfer coefficient we will calculate. After getting heat transfer coefficient, the convective heat transfer rate is estimated as HA into delta T. What is delta T means? That is surface temperature minus bulk mean temperature for internal flows. Bulk mean temperature means average temperature while entering plus the average temperature of entering fluid plus leaving fluid temperatures, Ti plus T naught by 2, that is bulk mean temperature. So we have already seen for internal flows at bulk mean temperature the properties must be taken. The properties must be taken at bulk mean temperature, and we also must decide whether the flow is in entry region or fully developed flow region by calculating the L by D ratio. If L by D is less than 60, we say that we are continuing in thermal entry region. If greater than 60 means we say that we are continuing in fully developed flow region. So accordingly, so we will decide. So what Nusselt number correlation must be taken from the data book. So first of all, you must list out the flow conditions. What are the flow conditions? So whether the problem is a forced convection problem or natural convection problem, one condition. Whether the flow is external or internal. Then whether the flow is laminar or turbulent. Whether the flow is in thermal entry region or fully developed flow region. What about the Frenkel number value? Is it greater than 1 or less than 1? So less than 1 means, so which is considered for liquid metals. Greater than 1 means that is considered for high viscous lubricants like fluids while flowing over the surface. So Frenkel number is greater than 1 or less than 1 we must see. After knowing all these flow conditions, satisfying all these constraints, which is the valid Nusselt number equation, by looking into the data book, you must take the Nusselt number relation like this. You must take the Nusselt number relation like this. After substituting into these relations, we have to estimate Nusselt number value. After getting Nusselt number value, that must be equated to Hd by K. So from there H is separated out and H will be calculated. Once H is known, then Q equal to what can be written? HA into delta T. What is A? So area of fluid contact. Area of fluid contact, this is HA into Ts minus what is fluid temperature? For internal flows, that is of bulk mean temperature. That is of bulk mean temperature. So Tb equal to again Ti plus T naught by 2. So this is how we will estimate the amount of heat convected. So from the tube to fluid flowing or from the fluid to tube flowing. If Tb is more than Ts means Tb minus Ts must be taken. Otherwise, if the tube has more temperature means Ts minus Tb must be taken. This is how we have worked out. So when it comes to natural convection, we were discussing about the natural convection. So far we have talked about forced convection and the related problems. Natural convection, when it will take place, so without the uh, imposing of external velocity, that means without keeping a fan, without keeping a blower, or without keeping the compressed air, naturally when fluid circulation or when fluid momentum is created over the flat surface, when fluid momentum is created naturally. So naturally, how is it possible? So at two different locations of the contact surface, so having two different temperatures, suppose over a hot surface, when air is in contact, let us suppose air is in contact on one side of the surface, then when there is the temperature difference from this level to this level, and there is the temperature difference from this level to this level, then so the molecules of air very close to this of the plate, so will undergo change of temperature, then they start moving naturally. So that is nothing but creation of convection currents, we call it as. Where from those convection currents are created means, so due to density difference, density difference created having temperature differences. The molecules at this level, are at two different temperatures. Having net temperature difference, the buoyancy difference is created. Having buoyancy difference, the hotter molecules will become lighter. They started to move upward. Then the bottom molecules also with continuous contact over the surface, that also will raise the temperature, and they become lighter, also goes up. This is how. So again, this is how here to here, due to temperature change, the density difference is created between the molecules, and the density difference creates the buoyancy forces to be developed. Buoyancy force means natural circulation of fluid momentum that is created, and automatically the air molecules will started to rise up or to rotate, so making contact with the hot surface and taking away the heat along with them. This is what is the natural convection mechanism. So we don't use external fan or a blower or a compressed air. Instead of that, between two points of a contact surface, by creating the temperature difference, the density difference also will be attained between the molecules. The molecules at this level are at different temperatures. Therefore, there is a net density difference. Suppose if this is section 1, if this is section 2, between section 1 and 2, there is the density difference rho 1 minus rho 2. Then, so having density difference, a net force is created. So from these molecules to bottom molecules, that is how the natural way of circulation or momentum is established among the molecules. If you look at this, if you look at the what is that, a hard surface, this is what is the hard surface of temperature Ts, that is immersed into a static atmospheric air of temperature T infinity. Into the constant temperature atmospheric air, a hot temperature vertical plate is placed like this. A vertical temperature, a hot plate is immersed into a static atmospheric air temperature of T infinity. Static atmospheric air means it will have the velocity of 0. Into the static atmospheric air of temperature T infinity, a hot vertical surface is placed like this or immersed into the fluid like this vertically. Then, so at the surface level, plate surface level, the very first layer of the fluid molecules, they stick to the surface and will attain the temperature of plate. So therefore, at this level, the molecules, the fluid temperature T infinity is same as that of Ts. And away from that of the plate surface, there is a continuous change of temperature. After some distance from the plate surface, the temperature again where it is found to be of same as that of the free stream temperature, and there is a change of temperature from Ts to T infinity within this thickness, the height where, so the temperature is again found to be same as that of the free stream temperature. So this is the height, this is the height. We are saying it as thermal boundary layer thickness. So this is what is known as, so thermal boundary layer thickness. Similarly, for different sections also we can identify those thickness, and this is for at this section. So at this section, the height where the temperature is T infinity here. So at this section, the temperature again will be same as that of T infinity. At this section, the temperature will be same as that of T infinity. At this section, the temperature will be T infinity at this height. By joining all these heights, we are getting a development of thermal boundary layer thickness. We are getting the thermal boundary layer thickness. And when it comes to the velocity change within that, as the fluid layers are stick to the plate surface, the velocity at this section is 0. This is what is representation of zero velocity. This is what is the representation of zero velocity. You see here, the velocity at this section is 0. from there onwards, with continuous increase of temperature, you just see, so then gradually, so the density decreases, they start rising up, the velocity will increase. Again, as the velocity is becoming zero to other side, the velocity is becoming zero to other side, velocity gradually decreases. This is how the velocity change is taken place from plate to, so this is boundary layer development. Boundary layer development. So what do you mean by this? The fluid is undergoing the momentum only within the boundary layers. Either this is velocity boundary layer, we are saying it as, this is what is the velocity boundary layer, and this is what is the thermal boundary layer, we are saying it as. Only within these boundary layers, the fluid is undergoing the change of properties. So the fluid is undergoing the change of properties within the boundary layer and between the plate surface only. So for this momentum of the fluid particles, so the mathematical equations, by applying one continuity equation, one momentum equation, one energy equation, so these by solving, we can get the temperature distribution at any position of the, what is that, from plate surface to boundary layer thickness. From plate surface to boundary layer thickness, at any position also, to find out the temperature as well as the velocities. So we have to solve the, so mathematical equations called as continuity, momentum and energy equations. These by solving, subjected to boundary conditions, these are. So boundary conditions at y equal to 0. What do you mean by that y equal to? So here perpendicular to the plate direction is taken to be y direction. Along the plate is x direction. Along the plate is x direction. This is downside is negative x direction. Upward is positive x direction. Upward is positive x direction. Upward is positive x direction. Downward is negative x direction. Similarly, so perpendicular to the plate, perpendicular to the vertical plate, the direction we are saying is y. The velocity is also in x direction, we are saying as u for the fluid. The velocity is in vertical direction, we are saying it as in vertical direction. The velocity in vertical direction is taken to be of v. So horizontal direction or along the plate direction, the velocities are u. Perpendicular to the plate direction, the velocities are v. So those we are getting by solving the equations, so called as continuity, momentum and energy. Those have solved subjected to the boundary conditions. What are these boundary conditions? At y equal to 0, that means at a plate surface level. Y equal to 0 means that may be of either here or here or here or here or here, anywhere else, only on the plate surface level. So that is on this level. You see here, on this, along the plate surface level, what are the conditions we are applying? On the plate surface, velocity is 0. They stick to the surface and plate is stationary. So the molecules also will attain the same velocity of the plate. Plate is already has 0 velocity. Therefore, molecules after sticking at y equal to 0 will attain the velocity equal to 0. So the same particles after sticking to the surface, what is the temperature of the molecules here? That is equal to Ts. That is equal to Ts. Along the plate, the fluid particles will have the temperature same as the plate temperature. That is Ts. Then at y equal to infinity. Y equal to infinity means, so that is far away from the plate. This is far away from the plate, either to left side or right side. So this is far away from the plate. There is no movement for this air. There is no movement for the air. That is why velocity equal to 0. So velocity is approaching to 0. But away from the plate, initially at what temperature fluid is considered? T equal to atmospheric temperature or T infinity. That is what is the boundary conditions we have considered. These have solved subjected to these boundary conditions. Ultimately, we are getting the Nusselt number for natural convection is obtained as a function of two non-dimensional numbers. So one is of Grashof number, G R O S H, Grashof number, S H O F F, Grashof number. So this is what is Nusselt number for natural convection is a function of Grashof number and Frenkel number. Whereas for forced convection, the same Nusselt number we have obtained as a function of Reynolds number and Frenkel number. So Reynolds number having the velocity, so that plays a role. So here no velocity is there, then the Grashof number, which includes as a function of density difference. Grashof number. So since density difference is a responsible component for getting the fluid momentum, so this is the non-dimensional number obtained in terms of density difference. In terms of density difference, this is the non-dimensional number obtained. So in the case of forced convection, Frental number is there. In the case of natural convection also, Frental number is there. The only number where it is deviating is instead of Reynolds number in the case of forced convection, in the case of natural convection, Grashof number is considered. Grashof number is developed based on the density difference. By solving these three equations subjected to this, and finally we are getting the Nusselt number relation as a function of Grashof number and Frental number. Whatever role is played by Reynolds number in the case of forced convection, same role is played by Grashof number in the case of natural convection. Whatever function is done by the Reynolds number in the case of forced convection, same function also will be done by Grashof number in the case of natural convection. As usual, Frental number in the forced convection is there. In the natural convection also, Frental number is there. So the only difference where the forced convection and natural convection are differentiated are, so in the case of Reynolds number, that is, sorry, in the case of forced convection, that is Reynolds number. In the case of natural convection, the number that influences the momentum is Grashof number. So this is what the difference we have to observe. Then the product of Grashof number and Frental number, the multiplication of Grashof number and Frental number, that is known as Rayleigh's number. That is known as Rayleigh's number. RAY. We say it as RAYLEIGH. Rayleigh's number. RA we call it as Rayleigh's number. RA equal to product of Grashof number and Frental number. Product of Grashof number and Frental number is Rayleigh's number. Whereas in the case of forced convection, the product of Reynolds number and Frental number is taken as Peclet number. Reynolds number and Frental number, this is taken as Peclet number. So Peclet number in the case of forced convection, that is equal to a product of Reynolds number and Frental number. So this is for forced convection. This is for forced convection, the product of Reynolds number and Frental number. This is for natural convection, the product of Grashof number and Frental number equal to Rayleigh's number. So based on the comparison of Grashof number and Reynolds number, based on the comparison, Reynolds number we have seen for forced convection, Grashof number we have seen for natural convection. Suppose the ratio between Grashof number to Reynolds number square equal to 1. What do you mean by that? Grashof number equal to Reynolds number square. So it means that equal effects are felt by the natural convection as well as forced convection during that fluid momentum. That means equally natural convection and forced convection play the roles. Equal effects are shown by the natural convection as forced convection when GR by Reynolds number equal to 1. Suppose if GR by Reynolds number square equal to greater than 1, if Grashof number by Reynolds number square is much greater than 1 means Grashof number is much greater than Reynolds number. When Grashof number is much greater than the Reynolds number means, so that is natural convection is dominating compared to forced convection. We also can say that forced convection is negligible. So in some cases where Grashof number by Reynolds number square equal to much lesser than 1, it means that Grashof number is much lesser compared to Reynolds number. That means Reynolds number is dominating in one of the convection mechanism means, so that is forced convection is dominating compared to free convection. In that case, free convection is negligible. So to understand the impact of natural convection, the ratios that are to be considered as ratio between Grashof number and Reynolds number. So on comparison, if GR by Reynolds number square equal to 1 means equal effects are felt by the free convection and forced convection. If GR by RE square equal to much greater than 1 means GR is dominating. That means natural convection is dominating. The effect of forced convection is negligible. If GR by REL square equal to much lesser than 1 means, so that is Grashof number effect is negligible. That means natural convection effect is negligible and forced convection is dominating in that of the situation. This is how we will estimate. So here Grashof number that is estimated ultimately as L cube beta G Ts minus T infinity. What is Ts here is plate surface temperature, which we have seen just now. So this is what is the plate. You assuming that plate has uniform temperature, that is plate surface temperature Ts we have taken. So the surrounding fluid temperature is T infinity. L cube is height of the, so this is height of the plate. Beta is volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion. Volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion. So that is what is G is acceleration due to gravity, nu is kinematic viscosity for the given fluid. So in this relation, while getting the Grashof number value, nu to be taken or uh, beta to be taken, all required properties are taken at film temperature. Here also externally the flow is happening. You see here, so externally the fluid is in contact with the plate surface. Externally the fluid is in contact with the plate surface. Therefore, from plate to boundary layer only, the fluid is undergoing the change of properties. Beyond the boundary layer, the temperature remains same. So that is why, so the fluid properties are changing only within this boundary layer. So that is why, being the external flow, already we have seen for external flow where to be taken the properties at film temperature. At film temperature, the properties must be taken. That is what I have mentioned here. The properties of fluid have to be taken at film temperature. What is that film temperature? Average of plate temperature and the fluid temperature. Average of plate temperature and fluid temperature. So that is what is. What is volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion is, so rate of change of pressure. That means change of pressure with respect to temperature divided by initial density. Initial density. This is what is the effect of density is included. The effect of density is included here. So this is defined as volumetric coefficient of thermal expansion for the fluid, rate of change of pressure with respect to temperature divided by initial density of the fluid. So initial density of the fluid. Since so the air behaves as ideal gas, from ideal gas equation of state, PV equal to MRT and M by V can be taken as density. Therefore, P equal to rho RT we can take it. From here, what is dou P by dou T we can take, keeping pressure constant. Keeping pressure constant. From there, we are getting it as 1 by T. What is this T? 1 by of film temperature. This is after getting the film temperature, beta value for estimation of Grashof number. You see in this, the beta value is estimated as 1 by T film. 1 by T film. That is what equal to this. Beta equal to 1 by T film. What is T film means? 1 by Ts plus T infinity, that is 1 by Ts plus T infinity by 2 this is. So and that must be taken in kelvins, not in degrees centigrade. This temperature should be taken. While substituting in this equation, this has to be substituted in the film temperature, whatever is calculated. So whatever is calculated, it must be substituted as kelvins. So plus 273 must be taken. So this is what is T film temperature. 1 by of T film equal to, what is that we are saying is 1 by of T film equal to beta. Beta equal to 1 by of T film. 1 by of T film for natural convection. So the T film equal to average of plate temperature and the fluid temperature. This should be taken in kelvins, not in degree Kelvin. This temperature must be taken in, so this temperature must be taken in kelvins. So not in degree centigrade should be taken. So that is how. After knowing that, you have seen. So there is a development of boundary layer. You here to here, hydrodynamic boundary layer is developed, and here to here, thermal boundary layer is developed. So thermal boundary layer is up to here, velocity boundary layer is up to here. So at any position also to find out the thickness of boundary layer, maybe here or maybe here or maybe here or anywhere else also to get the boundary layer thickness. So that equation that is to be used is, this is already available in the data book. You need not remember at all. You need not remember at all. This is boundary layer at a particular position of plate. So it is a boundary layer at a particular position of, what is that? Vertical height. Boundary layer at any position of x. Boundary layer at any position of x. You see here, the boundary layer at the bottom of the vertical plate is 0. From here gradually that increases. Here maximum boundary layer thickness is obtained. So at any level, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, at any level also to get the boundary layer thickness, the equation to be used is this one. This is the boundary layer thickness at the chosen height, of the vertical plate. What is that height is x. From the bottom of the vertical plate, this is the height value 3.93, Prandtl number to the power 1 minus 1 by 2. So this is of this Grashof number at that of the position. Grashof number at that of the position. So the position where the Grashof number is calculated. So wherever we are trying to calculate the boundary layer thickness, so here, so whether we are getting the boundary layer at this level or at this level or at this level or at this level or at this level, therefore x also keeps on changing from the bottom. So at this level x equal to 0, x is something, still something, still something. So that is how the boundary layer is changing. The boundary layer is changing. You see here, from the bottom to top, the thickness of boundary layer keeps on increasing. So that's we are trying to get it. That we are trying to get it using this relation. Boundary layer at the expected height of x, that x value will substitute, and the Grashof number at that particular height we have to calculate. So that is what is. Earlier we have written it as L cube beta g delta t by nu square while calculating the Grashof number at the extreme height of the vertical plate. If that is not the case, at any position of the vertical height, while getting the Grashof number, position has to be taken according to that height only. So this is how the Grashof number value is calculated. After getting a Grashof number, how do you calculate the local heat transfer coefficient? Local heat transfer coefficient means at any particular position of the vertical height, maybe here or maybe at this level or maybe at this level or maybe at this level, at any height of the vertical plate. So the local heat transfer coefficient is estimated using this relation. Hx equal to 2 times of thermal conductivity by delta, which we have just now calculated. So delta which just now we have calculated, this is what is delta. This delta value we will substitute to get the local heat transfer coefficient. So that means at any height also, so maybe here or maybe here. So this is the vertical plate, and the x is in the vertical direction we have taken. X is in the vertical direction we have taken at any vertical height also to get the property values. This is x value in this direction. Maybe at this level or maybe at this level or maybe at this level. So the local heat transfer coefficient to calculate 2k divided by k is constant. Where to be taken this k value? At film temperature, being the external flow delta. So at whatever height we are getting, suppose if you are at this height, if you are getting the heat transfer coefficient, means boundary layer thickness also at this height must be taken. This is delta at that corresponding x value. This is delta at that corresponding x value. So afterwards, but we require for the entire of the plate, starting from bottom to top also, at a time we require one heat transfer coefficient, that is average heat transfer coefficient. At any particular position of the height, that is local heat transfer coefficient. So in the total height of the L value, the average heat transfer coefficient we are getting, that average heat transfer coefficient is 4 by 3 times of local heat transfer coefficient. That is also there in the data book, you need not remember. So how do you decide over a vertical plate whether the flow is under laminar or turbulent? So while the flow is happening in the upward direction like this, whether it is in the laminar flow or in turbulent region, to decide, we need to estimate the Rayleigh's number. Already we have told that Rayleigh's number is a product of Grashof number and Prandtl number. If Rayleigh's number value is less than 10 to the power 9, at any height of the vertical plate also, if Rayleigh's number estimated is less than 10 to the power 9, we say that laminar flow is taken place within that height. If this is greater than 10 to the power 9, we say that, so we say that we have entered into turbulent region by the fluid. We have entered. So you just see how many what is that ways of deciding the laminar and turbulent flow. For external flows, when Reynolds number is calculated, if the estimated value is less than 10 to the power 5, we say that laminar, otherwise turbulent. For internal flows, if Reynolds number estimated is of less than 2300, laminar flow takes place. If that is greater than 2300, turbulent flow will take place. Whereas for natural convection, so at any particular height also, after estimating Rayleigh's number, There is nothing but the product of Grashof number and Prandtl number. If that value is less than 10 to the power 9, so laminar flow. If this is greater than 10 to the power 9, so that is turbulent flow is taken place. So turbulent flow is taken place over the plate, we can say it as. So this is what is the case. If greater than 10 to the power 9, we have entered into turbulent flow along the vertical plate. Less than 10 to the power 9, we have entered into laminar flow, we say it as. So knowing this, we are trying to work out the problems. You see here, the same, I have taken the Xerox copy of the natural convection. You see here, whatever relation just now I have told you, for a vertical surface, laminar flow to decide. Laminar flow to decide, the product of Grashof number and Prandtl number must be less than 10 to the power 9. So Grashof number at any position of the vertical height to calculate, the relation used is x cube beta g delta t by nu square. What is delta t means? Difference between wall temperature and the free stream fluid temperature. So boundary layer thickness at any height also, that is equal to delta by x I have taken. Here that x is also taken to this side only. X is also taken to right hand side, then it becomes 3.93x. PR to the power minus 1 by 2 means minus 0.5. This relation is same as that of what we have just now seen. After that, local heat transfer coefficient is obtained 2k by delta, and from there local Nusselt number is obtained as 2x by delta x, and this is valid for constant wall temperature. As long as convection is taken place, the wall temperature should remain constant. So then the Nusselt number equation is taken like this. If constant heat flux is maintained, that means suppose if the wall is exposed to sun radiation of so much continuously, it comes under constant heat flux case. For a constant heat flux case, the Nusselt number to be estimated, this is the relation to be taken. These are all available in the data book. You need not remember anything. So the corresponding Nusselt number equation is taken and substituted. We can calculate. You see here, average Nusselt number also is calculated as 4 by 3 times of local Nusselt number. After getting average Nusselt number, and we will assign this as h bar into L by K. Once we assign like this, h bar is obtained. Once h bar is obtained, then Q equal to h bar A into delta T. H bar A into delta T, we write. What is T means? Ts minus T infinity. Ts minus T infinity we have to use. So this is how the amount of heat convected under natural convection is estimated. So keeping all these with you, data book, by keeping with you, all problems can be worked out. So some other persons have developed a Nusselt number equation which valid both for constant wall temperature case and constant heat flux case. While you are using the Nusselt number equation, this is valid for when constant wall temperature is maintained. While you are using this relation, this is valid for constant heat flux condition. For both the cases also to be applied, some other person has developed the Nusselt number equation, that is equal to C times of Grashof number to the power, so 0.25. This is valid both for constant wall and constant heat flux. In this equation, C is considered. So based on the Prandtl number, C is taken as, suppose for Prandtl number of so much, C value will be so much. So Prandtl number of 0.72 means, what is the C value to be substituted here? Is 0.357. So where is the Prandtl number is known? From the properties of film temperature, Prandtl number also will be taken. Based on the Prandtl number, C also will be taken here. The same C by substituting. This equation is equally applicable to be applied for constant wall temperature and constant heat flux case also. This is applicable purely for constant heat flux. The first equation is purely applicable for constant wall temperature case. This is constant heat flux case is this one. For both the cases, this is the Nusselt number equation we use. So that is how it is always required to keep the data book with you. Having the data book, all relations can be taken, satisfying our case. So then when go to the problems on this, so very easily we can solve this. You see what is the problem given? A 30 centimeter long glass plate. It is a vertical plate. It hung vertically. It is placed vertically in the air of 27 degrees centigrade. T infinity is 20. Length of the plate is 0.3 meters, where the glass plate is maintained at a temperature of 77. That means Ts is given 77. T infinity is given 27. L value is given. So glass plate vertical height 0.3 meters. Calculate the boundary layer thickness at the trailing edge of the plate. Trailing edge means at the top of the vertical plate. So leading edge and trailing edge. So the location where the fluid started to enter. This is where the fluid started to enter, and where from it is leaving from the plate. So this is from the top of the plate. Here it is leaving from the plate surface. Here it is leaving from the plate surface. This is what is known as leading edge. The top one is known as trailing edge. So what they are asking you to calculate, boundary layer thickness at the trailing edge. It means that at the top of the vertical plate, what is the boundary layer thickness? If a similar plate is placed in a wind tunnel, the same plate, next case they have kept in the wind tunnel. Wind tunnel means where velocity of, so the air is supplied at a velocity of roughly 4 meters per second. So at a velocity field of 4 meters per second, the air is blown over the top of the plate. In that case also they are asking you to estimate what is the boundary layer thickness at the trailing edge. So one time the vertical plate is placed in what is that, static air. So the air with zero velocity, into that the vertical plate is placed. Second case is the vertical plate is placed in the uh, air of with velocity 4 meters per second. So for that only we are using wind tunnel. Wind tunnel where the wind is supplied at a velocity of 4 meters per second into that environment. So the plate is placed there. So that is what is the case. Being the external flow, the fluid properties must be taken at film temperature. Film temperature is average of surface temperature and the fluid temperature. The properties are taken from the data book. As I told you, beta equal to 1 by T film, where T film must be taken in kelvins. That's what is. From there I have calculated Grashof number. After getting the Grashof number, so multiplied with Frental number, Rayleigh's number is estimated. Thus value is found to be less than 10 to the power 9. Then we say that laminar flow is taken place within the given height. So therefore, for laminar flow, the corresponding boundary layer equation is this one. Into that boundary layer equation, you see here natural flow, laminar flow for vertical surface, and this is constant wall temperature case also. This is constant wall temperature case also. Satisfying all these conditions, then what is the boundary layer thickness? That is taken directly from the data book. That is directly is taken from the data book. Just now I have shown you. You see here, this is what is the relation I have used. Using that relation, I have got the boundary layer thickness. I have got the boundary layer thickness. You see here, the boundary layer thickness after obtaining, how much is the value at the trailing edge at the top of the plate? 0.0152, otherwise 1.52 centimeters. 1.52 centimeters. Next, when the flow is taken place under forced convective conditions, when Reynolds number is estimated, the estimated value is 6.5 into 10 to the power 4. For external flows with Reynolds number more than 5 into 10 to the power 5, the flow is laminar. The flow is laminar. As the number is less than 5 into 10 power 5 over the vertical plate, again the flow is laminar. Now for forced convection, for laminar flow conditions with constant wall temperature case, the required boundary layer thickness is 5L into Re to the power minus 1 by 2. L means the height of the plate. What is the Reynolds number just now estimated is 6.51 into 10 power minus 4, 10 power 4 minus 1 by 2. How much we have got boundary layer thickness under forced convection conditions? 5.8 millimeters. 5.8 millimeters means very very negligible at the top of the plate. So that is what under forced convective conditions. Under forced convective conditions, this height is 1.5. Sorry, how much we have got? 1.58. Yes, 5.8 millimeters. 5.8 millimeters for forced convection and 1. are 15.2 millimeters for 15.2 millimeters for natural convection and 5.8. So in the case of natural convection, this height will be 15.8 or 15.2. In the case of forced convection, this height will be of 1.58, very less. So that is what is the case of estimating the boundary layer thickness. Hope you have understood. The rest of the problems on natural convection will be known in continuation. So that is why hope you have realized the importance of keeping the data book with you. Hope you all will get the data book and will maintain while solving the problems on natural convection or forced convection. So you will understand the importance of natural convection or forced convection, and you all can purchase the data book. Using the data book only, you can solve the problems on natural convection or forced convection. So that's what. In continuation, in further class also, we will discuss about more number of problems on convection. Hope you have understood. And today I will be closing. Thank you.